Now, having waterfront views was a dream come true for these residents. Imagine the nightmare, though, of finding out your high-profile neighbour wants to build up and block the glorious view.
The view framing homes in Lavender Bay is one that's arguably worth fighting for. Every rivet, beam and sail.
You can see Luna Park, you can see the Harbour Bridge, you can see everything that is good about Sydney, everything that's iconic.
During summer, it does filter through trees, but during winter, it's a very good view.
It's that world-famous site that adds considerable value to these homes.
I rented this property because it had this view. If it doesn't have that view anymore, my options are go somewhere that does or reduce my rent.
But the plans of one of the high-profile owners in this high-end residential pocket has neighbours concerned. New South Wales Governor Margaret Beazley wants to demolish her early 20th century home on this block and rebuild higher for $2.6 million. Nadine Hooson rents one of the apartments that'll lose part of its $1 million view.
It's absolutely fine if you want to increase the value of your property or if you want to do something, that is a wonderful thing for you to do. But if it causes sort of any kind of impact on anyone else, you really need to consider that.
The Governor already has a temporary taxpayer-funded residence on the other side of the harbour at Government House. But it's the plans for her privately owned home and the way they were submitted that has caused such a fuss. Daniel Bryant owns an apartment that's set to lose most of the view of the bridge if the plans are approved.
We always thought there was like a chance that at some point that site was going to be redeveloped. I mean, it's an old building. We always thought that if an application was put forward, that it would comply and kind of consider the residents' concerns.
The original submission to North Sydney Council was to build this two-storey home above a basement. Designers knew the original plan was above the legal height limit, but asked for it to be considered anyway.
Well, I think architects always want to kind of push the boundaries of what they can get away with. That's their job. They represent their client.
Even after the height was revised, neighbours still called foul over what architects argued was considered ground level. According to the final plans, the architects said the ground level on this side of the property was near the bottom of the sandstone wall. But on this side, they found the existing ground near the top of the wall, providing more leeway to build up. Architect Stephen Isaacs was questioned during this planning panel hearing.
So what we did as part of the process is we modelled in 3D the existing ground throughout the site, and the site, it varies dramatically through the site.
The panel also asked why the top floor wasn't set back to minimise how much of the view would be blocked for the apartments opposite.
Why does a building not comply with the setback from Bayview Street?
The boundary actually the boundary angles, which means that the setback is not a consistent dimension, all the way along the site.
And that was having a direct impact on my views, and especially the views of my neighbour upstairs, because the retention of the Opera House views for her were very marginal. So at the moment, with the proposal, she can see half of the Opera House, whereas with a proper setback, she would get the vast majority of the Opera House.
I'm not happy about it, not 100%. I mean, I love my view, I love it when my friends come over and we can sit here and enjoy it, and I'll be really disappointed if that doesn't continue.
Other neighbours also complained about the wavy roof and how it's unlike the peaked roofs in the area, which designers also mooted.
So we are not in a heritage conservation area.
Council planners initially recommended the project be conditionally approved, but the final decision is being handled by the North Sydney Local Planning Panel, not the council, because of the high-profile nature of the case. The panel deferred its decision earlier this month, sending the Governor's architects back to the drawing board. It found the plans don't stack up yet because of the existing design concerns.
These are the laws that protect your property rights when you're a purchaser.
The development application clearly...
Martin Bragozzo is a valuer and property economist with more than 20 years' experience.
Sydney's had phenomenal growth over the last 12 to 18 months.
He says some of the surrounding properties would clearly lose more than their views.
A slice of the harbour, depending on what that slice is, it could add 5 to 10% on top of the value of the property.
Residents say they'll keep an eagle eye on the case to make sure as much of this outlook is shared around.
We're always expecting that whatever was put there would comply, and that would allow us to retain as much of the view as possible.
If you consult at the beginning, you can save a lot of problems further down the track.
And Governor Margaret Beazley declined to comment on the case or whether further amendments will be lodged. Watch this space.